Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to everyone gathered here for this auspicious event right here in the world of Ansar. Hey Isham, look at this gathering, man. How do you feel about it?
Well, Akhil, you know what? I'm pumped up seeing this crowd. As far as I know, this is the first time Ansar has ever hosted a formal investiture ceremony.
Okay, then let's take this opportunity to wholeheartedly welcome all the guests to this inspiring event.
A million thanks to everyone for being a part in this long race of Ansar. Let's not delay anymore. Let's start the event expressing our endless gratitude to the Almighty and praying together for His blessings. I kindly remind you that the prayer will be followed by the national anthem. May I invite Sidra Sharfi of 12th for the prayer and the school choir for the national anthem.
ആലം ദയാലുവായി ദാക്ഷിണ്യശാലിയായി വാഴുന്നോരീശ്വരൻ തിരുനാമത്തിൽ നിഖില ലോകങ്ങൾക്കുമേകരക്ഷകനാകും അഖിലേശ്വരനല്ലയോ സകല സ്തുതിയും അഖിലേശ്വരനല്ലയോ സകല സ്തുതിയും പരമകാരുണ്യവാൻ കരുണാനിധിയേ വിധി പറയും ദിവസത്തിനേകാധിപനെ നിയതമാരാധിപ്പു ഞങ്ങളങ്ങയ മാത്രം സതതം സഹായമർദ്ദിപ്പതും തിരുമുമ്പിൽ നയിക്കേണം ഞങ്ങളെ നേരായ മാർഗത്തിൽ നിന്നനു ഗ്രഹപാത്രമായോർത്തന്മാർഗത്തിൽ അങ്ങയാൽ കോപിക്കപ്പെട്ടോരുടെ വഴിയല്ല സന്മാർഗഭ്രഷ്ടർ തൻ വഴിയിലുമല്ല ആലം ദയാലുവായി ദാക്ഷിണ്യശാലിയായി വാഴുന്നോരീശ്വരൻ തിരുനാമത്തിൽ നിഖില ലോകങ്ങൾക്കുമേകരക്ഷകനാകും അഖിലേശ്വരനല്ലയോ സകല സ്തുതിയും അഖിലേശ്വരനല്ലയോ സകല സ്തുതിയും അഖിലേശ്വരനല്ലയോ സകല സ്തുതിയും
जनगणमन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलति तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गादा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
The most awaited moment. Expression has got its shape and destination. I'm so excited to welcome all the student council members to grace the stage.
The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. Respected dignitaries of the dais, student leaders, those who are going to get honored today, and my dear parents and staff representatives, Assalamu alaikum, and good morning to everyone present here. A warm welcome to Investiture Ceremony 2022-23. The above said lines by Robert Frost are highly relevant for a true leader. The journey might be long and tiring. There can be ups and downs, twists and turns, acceptances and rejections. There can be happy and sad moments. But what we have to remember are the promises left, goals yet to be achieved, roads yet to be taken before we give up anything. So I would like to congratulate all young leaders of Ansar English School Perumpilavu who are gathered here for this auspicious occasion. Let's start our journey now. There can be moments at which you feel like the world around us is falling apart, or there can be moments where we feel like everything has ended up, or the nights can be darker. But remember, every night is followed by a bright morning. The darker the nights, the brighter the mornings. Let me get into my responsibility of welcoming the audience. I would like to welcome our chief guest of the day, Professor Salman Ali. He is an Ansar alumnus. I think he is the right person to motivate our students as a role model. He studied in Ansar and he has completed his education and then now is holding the position as assistant professor at IIM Calicut. Really, I believe our students will learn a lot from him. We welcome you, sir. Now, I would like to welcome our Group CEO of Ansari Charitable Trust, Chairperson and Group CEO, Mr. K.B. Mohammed, sir, to today's occasion. Welcome, sir. I would like to welcome our Secretary of E.A. Kunya Ahmed, Secretary of Ansari Charitable Trust, Mr. E.A. Kunya Ahmed, for this function. Welcome, sir. I wholeheartedly welcome Dr. Najib Mohammed, CEO of Ansar Educational Institutions, to today's function. Welcome, sir. And we have our management representative, Mr. Sharif, here. I welcome you, sir, for today's function. Now, I would like to welcome our leader, Principal Mr. Shihabuddin Pulas, who is present here. And he has been giving us constant guidance on conducting this program. We welcome you, sir. I would like to welcome our academic consultant, Mrs. Sahira Ahmed, for this function. And I would like to welcome all our junior principals and head teachers who was working for this event to happen today. So I welcome all of you to this gathering. I would like to welcome all my staff representatives who are working day and night to make this a colorful event. Now, I would like to welcome the stars of today's event, my young leaders of Ansar English School Perumpilavu, to this occasion. And I would like to welcome our parent representatives who have gathered here to witness the function of their awards getting honored. Indeed, I would like to appreciate and congratulate them too. We welcome you for this function. Once again, from the bottom of my heart, I welcome all the students and all those who have gathered here to this function. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. A leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. They are not born, but made. With that, I request Mr. K.V. Mohammed, the Vice Chairman of the Ansari Charitable Trust, to come onto the stage to give the presidential address. Sir, please.
അസ്സലാമു അലൈക്കും. അൽഹംദുലില്ലാഹ്. സ്വലാത്തു വസ്സലാമു അലാ റസൂലില്ലാഹ് അലാ ആലിഹി വസഹ്ബിഹി വസല്ലം. Respected principal and our chief guest and all staff and students. ഞാനൊരു മലയാളിയാണ്. മലയാളത്തിലാണ് പറയുന്നത്. Leaders do not make followers. Leaders make more leaders. Well said. Leaders visionaries ആണ്. ഇപ്പോഴത്തെ ട്രെൻഡിങ് ന്യൂസ് ഇന്നും ഇന്നലെയൊക്കെയായിട്ട് ന്യൂസിലുള്ളത് ജെയിംസ് വെബ്. നമ്മൾ ശ്രദ്ധിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടോ എന്നറിയില്ല. കഴിഞ്ഞ 400 years ആയിട്ട് നമ്മൾ ഉപയോഗിച്ചിരുന്നത് ഗലീലിയോ എന്ന ശാസ്ത്രജ്ഞൻ്റെ പേരിൽ അറിയപ്പെടുന്ന ഒരു ടെലിസ്കോപ്പാണ്. ഗോളശാസ്ത്രം സംഭാവന ചെയ്തത് അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ ടെലിസ്കോപ്പാണ്. വളരെ അടുത്ത കാലത്ത് നടന്ന റിസർച്ചുകളുടെ അടിസ്ഥാനത്തിൽ ഒരു പുതിയ ടെലിസ്കോപ്പ് രൂപം കൊണ്ടിട്ടുണ്ട്. അതിൻ്റെ പേരാണ് ജെയിംസ് വെബ്. ഇൻഫ്രാറെഡ് റേസ് ഉപയോഗിച്ച് 1000-1500 ലക്ഷം ലൈറ്റ് ഇയേഴ്സിനപ്പുറത്തേക്ക് കണ്ണെത്തിച്ച് കാര്യങ്ങൾ പഠിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയാണ്. നമ്മൾ വിചാരിച്ച പ്രപഞ്ചം അല്ല, അതിനപ്പുറത്ത് ഇനിയും എത്രയോ പ്രപഞ്ചങ്ങളുണ്ട് എന്ന വിവരം ആണ് നമ്മളെ കാത്തിരിക്കുന്നത്. അൻസാറിൻ്റെ പ്രിൻസിപ്പലിന് ഒരു വലിപ്പം ഉണ്ട് ഇല്ലേ? നമ്മുടെ പ്രപഞ്ചത്തിൻ്റെ ക്രിയേറ്റർ, നാഥൻ, നമ്മളീ കാണുന്ന പ്രപഞ്ചമൊന്നല്ല, ഇതിനപ്പുറമൊക്കെ നമുക്ക് ഒരുപക്ഷെ സങ്കല്പിക്കാൻ കഴിയാത്ത ഒരു ഇൻഫിനിറ്റ് ലോകമുണ്ട് എന്ന് കാണുമ്പോൾ അതിൻ്റെ ക്രിയേറ്റർ, ദി ഗോഡ്, അല്ലാഹ്, ആ ഗ്രേറ്റ്നെസ് ഒന്ന് മനസ്സിൽ സങ്കല്പിച്ചൊക്കെ. നമ്മുടെ ലീഡേഴ്സിനെ കുറിച്ച് നമ്മൾ പറയാറുള്ളത്, ദിസ് അപ്കമ്മിങ് ലീഡേഴ്സ് അൻസാറിൻ്റെ ഇൻ്റലക്ച്വൽ അസറ്റാണെന്നാണ്. നിങ്ങൾ ഭാവി ലീഡേഴ്സ് അൻസാറിൻ്റെ അസറ്റാണ്, വേറെ ആരുടേതുമല്ല. മുമ്പ് പല പ്രാവശ്യം ഇത് പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുള്ളതാണ്. നാളെ പ്രൊഫസർ സൽമാൻ തിരിച്ചു വന്നതുപോലെ നിങ്ങളൊക്കെ തിരിച്ച് അൻസാറിൽ വരണം. നിങ്ങൾ ആർജിച്ച കഴിവുകൾ, ഇൻ്റലക്ട്സ് അൻസാറിന് തിരിച്ചു കൊടുക്കണം, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അൻസാറുമായി ഷെയർ ചെയ്യണം എന്നതാണ് നമ്മുടെ വിഷൻ. പുതിയ ലീഡേഴ്സ് അവർക്ക് വഴി മാറിക്കൊടുക്കാൻ പഴയ ഞങ്ങൾ തീരുമാനിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് ഉപയോഗിച്ചിരുന്ന ടെലിസ്കോപ്പ് ഗലീലിയോൻ്റെ ടെലിസ്കോപ്പായിരുന്നു. അതിന് ദൂരക്കാഴ്ച കുറവാണ്. ഇനി വരുന്നത് ജെയിംസ് വെബ്. അപ്പോൾ ലീഡർഷിപ്പ് ചേഞ്ച് സംഭവിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയാണ് സാറിൽ. പുതിയൊരു ലോകത്തേക്ക്, പുതിയ ഒരു ഹൊറൈസണിലേക്കാണ് അൻസാർ കുതിച്ച് പായുന്നത്. അതുകൊണ്ട് എനിക്ക് പ്രൊഫസർ സൽമാനോട് ഒരു കാര്യം പറയാനുണ്ട്. എന്താണെന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ, നിങ്ങൾ ഇവിടുന്ന് പഠിച്ചു പോയ പൂർവ്വ വിദ്യാർത്ഥികൾ തിരിച്ചു വരണം. നിങ്ങളുടെ ബുദ്ധി, കാഴ്ചപ്പാട്, ഇൻ്റലക്ട്സൊക്കെ അൻസാറിന് വേണം. അതൊന്നും കാശ് കൊടുത്ത് വാങ്ങിക്കാൻ കഴിയില്ല. അൻസാറിൻ്റെ ഭാവി ഇവിടുന്ന് പഠിച്ചു പോയ കുട്ടികളിലാണ്. ബാക്കിയുള്ളവരെ പ്രൊമോട്ട് ചെയ്യേണ്ട, ഇൻസ്പയർ ചെയ്യേണ്ട ആളുകൾ എന്ന നിലക്ക് ഭാരിച്ച ഉത്തരവാദിത്വം അവരുടെ കയ്യിലുണ്ട്. ഞാൻ ഇന്നലെ കൊടൈക്കനാൽ ഇൻ്റർനാഷണൽ സ്കൂൾ, കൊടൈക്കനാലുള്ള വലിയൊരു ഇൻ്റർനാഷണൽ സ്കൂളാണ്, 1901 സ്ഥാപിതമായതാണ്. അവരുടെ കഴിഞ്ഞ കൊല്ലത്തെ ഒരു മാഗസിൻ നോക്കിയപ്പോൾ 1954 മുതലുള്ള സ്റ്റുഡൻസ്, ദേ ആർ ഇൻ ദർ 70s ഓർ ഈവൻ 80s. അവരും ഇപ്പോൾ ആ സ്ഥാപനത്തിന് കോൺട്രിബ്യൂട്ട് ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയാണ്. കഴിഞ്ഞ കാലത്തൊന്നും അത് വേണ്ടതുപോലെ സംഭവിച്ചിട്ടില്ല. പക്ഷേ ഇനിയുള്ള ലീഡേഴ്സിൻ്റെ റെസ്പോൺസിബിലിറ്റിയാണ് നമ്മുടെ പഠിച്ചുപോയ കുട്ടികളെ ആകർഷിക്കുകയും ഇവിടുത്തെ സ്ഥിര സാന്നിധ്യമാക്കുകയും ചെയ്യുക. ഈ ഉത്തരവാദിത്വം പുതിയ ലീഡേഴ്സിനെ ഏൽപ്പിക്കുകയാണ്. ദൈവം തമ്പുരാൻ നമ്മളൊക്കെ തുണക്കട്ടെ. വളരെ വേഗത്തിലാണ് ഈ കാലചക്രം തിരിഞ്ഞുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നത്. വളരെ ഫാസ്റ്റായിട്ട് ചിന്തിക്കാനും ഓടി മുന്നിലെത്താനും നമ്മുടെ ഇനിയുള്ള തലമുറകൾക്ക് സാധിക്കട്ടെ എന്ന് ഒരിക്കൽ കൂടി പ്രാർത്ഥിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് ഞാൻ നിർത്തുന്നു. അസ്സലാമു അലൈക്കും.
Thank you, sir. Appreciation is the highest form of prayer, for it acknowledges the presence of God wherever you shine the light of your thankful thoughts. Today, we are extremely honored to have Professor Salman Siddiq Ali to have as a chief guest. Professor Salman Siddiq Ali, a progeny of our very own Ansar English School, a bachelor in engineering, instrumentation and control engineering. He has studied strategic management at IIM Ahmedabad and is now an assistant professor at IIM Kozhikode. He has worked as an assistant professor at IIM Shillong and IIM Raipur also. I invite the Honorable Chief Guest, Professor Salman Siddiq Ali, to enlighten our leaders with his valuable words. Sir, please.
Assalamu alaikum. Alhamdulillah. Respected dignitaries on either sides of the auditorium, the front side of the auditorium, and my dear young students, like all the way from class 1 till 12th. It's a pleasure for me to be back to this stage where, we all belonged and we still belong, honestly. 30, 40 years before, honestly. If you look at our journey, maybe I can share a bit of that and later get into something else. So we were here right at the inception of Ansar, around first or second or third year of, founding of Ansar. I believe it was 83. So my elder brother, sisters, they joined the institute in 84, I believe, 83 or 4. I joined the institute in 86. And we spent all our schooling in this institute. We were 7. I was the 4th of 7. So each one of us did KG to, those days KGs were not there, but first onward till, 12th class. And in fact, my wife also studied here later on. My mom also did a little bit of, there was a course called teachers training, like pre-primary teachers training course. And even some of our kids, including mine, had studied here for a year. So we are always part of this institute. I mean, it's a family, it's a big family. It's not just us as a, I mean, if you talk about, I mean, our family, but if you look at our cousins and our, I mean, relatives, there are plenty of us who were nurtured through this Ansar. There are a lot of memories, honestly, in the sense, like, it was a very small, neat, tightly, close-knit, everybody kind of knew each other. We are a group of maybe 100 or 200, not more than that. I mean, even the classes were like starting from 1 to 6, then all the way to every year it used to go up till 12th. So those days, we used to live in either of these hostels, like, I mean, the main hostel, boys hostel, and the Banat were like, I used to be a kid, so we used to stay in the Banat, small kids, and I mean, my sisters, I stayed along with my sisters in the Banat during those times. And of course, then later on, we moved into the boys hostel. But one thing unique about Ansar, like, I mean, which probably you cannot find anywhere else. Of course, there are many schools now, but those days it was very rare to find. So that is why our parents who were based in Kuwait and many other parents who were based at different parts of the state, I mean, they took a huge sacrifice to leave their, I mean, young generation and keep it into a boarding school. Mostly it was a boarding school. Of course, there were very few who were close to Perumpilavu and they used to come and go. But those days, there were not many good schools available. So it was, at that point, Dr. Abul Jalal Malawi, whose son is now the CEO and guiding you forward, the visionary, as we talk about leaders who create destiny to the future. I mean, there is no equivalent to, I mean, Abul Jalal Malawi, who came from Shantapuram and like he, I mean, invited like-minded people and started a school. Very small, like it was started at like Hyderabad Sahib's place, I mean, opposite to Ansar Hospital right now. So what happened was like in this small family, like all of us like had substitutes of our parents and our brothers and sisters, like because as I said before, it was a boarding school. I mean, right from the smaller classes. Today I learned the boarding part starts only from 9th, but all of us those days, even from first class or it was in the boarding stages. So this experience is what got us. Alhamdulillah, this trained us in a unique way, which paved our way in both directions simultaneously as much possible. Like towards a regular stream of what you call like worldly education, a good quality education that can open you doors to the future. Many of us, the Ansar alumni, are in different positions, like right now, I mean, CEOs of institutes, entrepreneurs, like, I mean, doctors, engineers, and management professionals. So, but one thing that keeps us apart is that, like, it's not just we are close-knit, but the second aspect is what I probably want to emphasize today. That is, we also had a religious background. The primary purpose of starting this institute was to simultaneously pursue both the moral values as well as worldly education that you generally get it from. So, in a group of, as I said, like 100 or 150 students, like what we used to have were sessions and classes and what you call, I mean, gatherings of experiences by the teachers of that era, like not just in the classroom, but much beyond the classrooms. So the stairs that you see there, like which is going to the principal's room, that was a gathering spot. Many and often we used to have gatherings there, like let's say post Maghrib, post Isha, like there is no as such a planned event, but one of the, let's say, teachers like Samad sir or like Siddiq sir or somebody used to come there and share us stories of morals and values, and of course based from our base, which is fundamentally our religion. So I still recall the first time I heard the story of course, I might have heard it, but I still recall the incident when I heard the story of like Nuh alayhi salam, right from sitting on the steps, and Samad sir used to actually tell us a story. There used to be periods where like, for some reason, if a faculty is absent, a teacher is not there, so somebody used to come as substitutes. And we used to love those sessions by, our teachers who come and share us stories, history, values, and morals. So let me tell you another story which is very close to my heart, and of course that is also probably related to why we gathered here today, that is the future leaders. See, it so happened that while the conquest of Jerusalem, when Muslims during the era of the second Caliph Umar Anhu, Muslims conquest, Muslims went to Jerusalem, Sham, as we call it that day, and now it is under Palestine. So Muslims conquered Jerusalem, which was the capital, or like kind of close to Muslims' heart, because that is the place where Prophet Muhammad ascended to heaven, and that was our first Qibla. So now, this was at that point, under the Byzantine Empire, the Eastern Roman Empire. So, interestingly, what happened during that time was, during this conquest, Muslims could have actually plundered the city and actually do whatever they wished they wanted. But of course, that is not in our values and morals. So there are very strict guidelines even during war, like how you should treat civilians, all people, people in the monastery, like you should not harm them rather. So being Sahaba, they held those values pretty much like close to themselves, and they were kind of their, behavior is what actually brought people in multitude in Islam. So this event goes by like this. So the leader of the Muslim army, they wanted to actually capture the city. But then the priest who held the keys of the city, the Christian priest, he said, I won't hand over the key. Rather, I will hand over the key only to that person who is your leader, and who is also, by the way, for them they knew, because from the scriptures they learned that such a person is coming to visit them for this key to be handed over. So they said only if your caliph come from Medina and then approach us, we will hand it over to you peacefully. So incidentally, there was some smaller things which I heard from a recent khutbah, that so Muslims thought why should we delay the process? So somebody told Khalid ibn Walid radhiyallahu anhu, who was a close relative of Umar radhiyallahu anhu. Of course, he was not the chief of the army. Chief of the army was Abu Ubayd al-Jarrah. So they asked Khalid ibn Walid anhu to go and collect the keys, disguising them to be Umar. It was thought for a while, but that didn't occur, because they later decided not to go by like that. But anyway, so eventually they wanted Umar radhiyallahu anhu to come there. So Umar decided, okay, he consulted his, Sahaba, and he decided to go all the way from Medina to Jerusalem. And remember who is Umar. The point at which, what is told by the father of our nation, like Mahatma Gandhi, if I aspire to have a rule of land in a country like India or anywhere, I aspire to have the justice and the rule of Umar radhiyallahu anhu. It's because he was a compassionate leader who used to take care of all citizens across his territory. And the territory was the biggest nation, the biggest empire in that day, because they had already conquered Persia, they had already conquered the Romans, that is the Eastern Empire, which was, interestingly, the bigger empire than the later Roman Empire, the Western Roman Empire. So now Umar radhiyallahu anhu started his journey along with his servant. And of course, they could have gone with a huge caravan with like hundreds of camels and hundreds of, because they could afford it, horses, etc. But they decided to travel with one camel and these two people, like Umar Lanu and his servant. And then on the way, we just started, like Umar told his servant, since we have one camel and both of us are equal because both of us are human beings. It is not like you are my servant, I am your leader. Rather, we will share the camel and take turns. So, of course, though hesitantly, his servant agreed, yeah, we'll take turns. They kept on taking turns, like for some kilometers, Umar Law is on the camel, and for a few other kilometers, next his servant comes. It so happened that while the camel arrived to the city of Jerusalem, it was a turn of his servant. Then his servant told, see, people are waiting to meet you, not me. So you should rather be on the camel at this time. Then Umar told, like, we already had an agreement between us, that is, we'll take turns, and now it is your turn. No way I'm going to step on the camel. So they entered. They entered the city with Umar Lal leading the camel on the rope and his servant actually being seated on the camel. So very interesting way. This is what the Christians and the Jews and others who were there witnessed. Of course, the Muslims, it might not be a big surprise for the Muslims, but that is how they entered the city. And it was also told that the attire Umar Lan who worn at that time had 18 stitches, like his cloth, his shirt had 18 stitches on his garment. So now, what happened, like the chief of the, I think it was Sa'id ibn Abi Waqqas asked Umar Lanhu, or maybe Abu Ubaid al-Jarrah, asked Umar Lanhu, see, we are now going to meet a delegation of Romans who are very plump and posh in everything. So why don't you wear a better garment? And he actually went with a good garment so that like they can give to Umar while he go and meet the delegation of Romans and the priest. But Umar Lanhu categorically denied that. He said, the izzah that Allah has given us, that is the dignity Allah has given us, is through the religion, but not through the garment. So, we are not going to do something for someone, but I'm going to go as it is. And interestingly, the priest met Umar Lanhu. Of course, he came with a large contour, a big, because it was said that his, crown itself at that point had like, gold-plated crown and a lot of embellishments he had. But the interesting fact is that they had known it before from their scriptures. The caliph or the leader who is going to take the keys from them will be, of course, they had some identification of Umar Lanhu that he is supposedly to be leading the camel but not riding. And also they had news that they had from their scriptures, they knew that the person they are going to hand over the keys had stitches on their garment. So imagine both the things what Umar Lanhu stopped doing because of what he felt. One, an agreement with his servant, that is, we are going to split turns. He didn't allow his servant to actually, take him the seat while they were approaching Jerusalem. And the same thing when the leader of the Muslim army asked him to wear a better garment. These were the two things, they ensured the identification of Umar Lanhu himself, because those days pictures, videos, photos are not available. So these were the two things ensured the priest that the person they are handing over the key is the same person that is being predicted in their pictures, in their scriptures. So essentially, what Umar Lanhu actually felt, the dignity of is God from his deen. That is what the lesson which I want to actually share for you as well as myself going forward. That is, no matter the heights you reach in this world, you should hold on to your religion. That is, you should hold on to your faith, the morals and values, which is the only one which will distinguish the alumni of Ansar or the Ansar product. That is what we were imbibed, and I hope you take dear these values. I'll just add on a bit more into that story. So eventually it happened to be a time, like it was time for prayers. So the priest asked Umar Lanhu, you go and, because it was time for prayers, you please pray here, like, because that was the biggest, church for Christians, where they held that cross, which they believed it was the one crucifixed Jesus, Prophet Jesus. I'm not getting the details of that, but that cross is still there in that particular church. So the priest invited Umar Lanhu to pray from this church because they gave a space for him to pray. But look at the farsightedness of Umar. Umar Lanhu said, no, I'm not going to pray here. Because if I pray here, subsequently, it might not happen immediately, but subsequently a generation of Muslims would come and claim that this is a place where our caliph prayed. So we want this, and they might take over a church. Rather, I'll pray in an open location wherever. And then they prayed, a little bit ahead, maybe just 100 meters ahead of that church. And incidentally, it so happened, the foresightedness of Umar Lanhu, that people built a masjid, which is known as Masjid Umar, which is very close to this church. And this church is also very close to Masjid Al-Aqsa. So you look at how far-sighted Umar Lanhu as a leader was, and how compassionate he was to his servants, irrespective of his servant, and of course to all citizens, whether it is Christians or Jews or Muslims. They had full right and freedom to worship whichever God they wanted, whichever they wanted to actually pray. And then he also ensured that, in future also Muslims won't claim that church just because Umar Lanhu has prayed. So we have a lot of lessons like that in our history. And let me end up my reminder here. So as far as I'm concerned, like as a small story, or like rather the path I actually took up post Ansar, I did my graduation from NSS College of Engineering in after my 12th. I did BTech, and subsequently I went as a faculty teaching instrumentation courses in MES College of Engineering. Later on, we had a small enterprise where we are promoting higher education for, aspirants, like student aspirants to UK, Ireland, and of course in Bangalore as well. Subsequently, I took my MBA and PhD, which we call as Fellow Program in Management from IIM Ahmedabad, and now I'm teaching at IIM Kozhikode. So just throw some light on this stream of studies, which probably we can discuss in a different forum in more depth. That is, most of you, especially those who are in your 9th to 12th standard, would be looking forward to a stream, which you are aware of, let's say, engineering, medicine, and other streams, but not necessarily into management as a domain at this stage. I'm not saying you should target management as a stream right now, but there are plenty of options available to you. Because management education, in particular MBA, and subsequently PhD in that, but otherwise MBA as an education as a stream is kind of something that is involved in creating leaders and opportunities, entrepreneurs, and opportunities for the business world. And if you look at how the world is run, it is mostly run by corporates, and subsequently it comes the politicians, and then comes, all other, stakeholders in a country. But not getting into that details, probably we'll meet in a smaller group, like from the bigger classes, and we'll discuss more about the opportunities there. That is, in particular, for those who are doing 11th or 12th. So nowadays, there is an integrated program in management offered by at least a couple of IIMs. And for that matter, IIMs, Indian Institute of Management, are the top class institutes. It's kind of a sister body, as most of you are aware, like Indian Institutes of Technology, IITs. So IITs and IIMs were created by, of course, during the time of Jawaharlal Nehru, like long back in the 60s and 50s, I mean, to cater to the need of the technical talent and the management talent for the country. So IITs and IIMs are some of the aspirational institutes for most young blocks like you. So IIMs always used to offer MBA, that is postgraduate degree onwards. But in the last 5 years, like kind of 5 to 6 years, couple of IIMs are also offering integrated programs in management. That is right from bachelor's, you have an option to choose into like bachelor's plus MBA. That is a 5-year integrated program degrees as well. So keep that in mind, and while you explore your opportunities to the management domain, you can have a look at, management stream, especially if you are interested in running a business, leading an enterprise, building your skills, or like starting something afresh. There are plenty of opportunities. So typically, the profile of candidates we get for IIMs, for MBAs, are about 50% of students without experience and another 50% of students with some experience, though we prefer more students with experience. But those students without experience are also equally there. So it's a mix of, students with experience and without experience, which means you still have a scope, like even if you go for your engineerings or other streams of degrees, including MBBS, there are few of my colleagues who have done their bachelor's in medicine and then come on to do an MBA. So you can still look for those options later in your career as well. Just keep it open and we'll have more discussions on that. And on an ending note, I congratulate all of you, the young leaders and sitting right in front of me and the grown-up leaders. It's my pleasure, to be back to this podium and share some experiences of mine. I hope this would be useful and we hope to interact further again. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, sir. So let's move on to the eagerly awaited moment, the investiture ceremony. For us, this isn't solely about providing titles. It's more about conferring responsibilities to the students to take charge of the school and take it to the heights they dream of with their leadership, decision-making, and communication skills.
So, may I request our chief guest, Professor Salman Siddiq Ali, to honor the 16 student council members with their sachet. And it's my privilege to welcome Mr. KV Mohammed Sir, Vice Chairman, Ansari Charitable Trust, to give away the badges. And also, I request all the dignitaries to grace the stage. To begin with, I invite our head boy, Master Muhammad Tashil, a Hafiz of the Quran and the Kala Pradima of class 11 last year. He is excellent in both studies and morals.
Now we have our head girl, Malavika Srinivasan, an empathetic and self-esteemed leader who always aims big. Her passion towards music and dance is greatly admired.
Shaz Rafi, who participated in various athletic events, is fitting to be the boys' sports captain. He is also known for his energetic personality.
Now we have the girls' sports captain, Sifa Fatima, who is a great listener and has an understanding character. She is also known for being bold and confident.
Now, the IT secretary, Mohammed Sibi, who owns a web designing company at this age. His contribution to online classes for the school is rather significant.
Now, the literary secretary, Hannah Hazar, a responsible leader who has great writing and speaking skills. She is a role model to most.
Boys Culture Secretary Muhammad Lami. His orator skills was noticed by everyone when he did the khutbah in the mosque.
Now, the girls' cultural secretary, Ida Nasir. She is a social media influencer and a content creator. She has found balance in earning at this young age.
Niswan, the house captain of Ruby, has a special place for books in his heart. He has a great reader and proficient in public speaking.
Partnered with Nisman is Simra, the other house captain of Ruby. She too has great public speaking skills. She is also known for her interest in dance.
The Emerald House captain, Rakib, is an ardent reader. He is also known for his kindness and calm nature.
Nandita Nasir is also the Emerald House captain. Her sportsmanship and leadership skills is something others look up to.
Nidan Ayub, the Diamond House captain, is an admired sportsperson and an amazing football player.
The next Diamond House captain, Zia Sulfikar, has an ever-smiling face and creates a positive atmosphere around her.
The house captain of Sapphire, Ismail Ishan, is praised for his kind heart and talent in music. He is also good at interacting with people.
Fatima Nada, the house captain of Sapphire, is a highly optimistic person. She was appreciated for her proficiency in recitation. Congratulations to all the leaders and thank you, sirs, for honoring them.
Now, we request all the assistant council members to come forward and receive the badges. I take this opportunity to invite Dr. Najib Muhammad, our CEO of Ansar Educational Institutions, to distribute the badges.
To begin with, I request Ajmal Abdul Rashid to come forward as the assistant head boy. Ajmal, please. Next, we have Sanaika Riyas as the assistant head girl. I request you to come forward. Now we have our sports captains. First, I'd like to invite Mohammad Kabir as the assistant boys sports captain. Then I'd like to invite Aisha Nia, the assistant girls sports captain. Now the IT secretary, Aisha Afrin. Please come forward. Next, we have Assistant Literary Secretary, Neha Nasrin. I'd like to request the boys' Assistant Cultural Secretary, Mohammad Bashir, to come forward. Then I'd like to request Girls' Assistant Cultural Secretary, Hanna Sabek, to come forward. Now let's call the house captains. Starting with Ruby, we have our assistant house captain, Yahya Ahmed and Farha Fatima. Yahya son. Farha Fatima. The Emerald has assistant house captains, Safal Ashraf along with Najia M.A. Next, we have Diamond Assistant House Captains, Adil Mohammad Ashraf with Rinsha K.I. Last but not the least, we have the Sapphire Assistant House Captains, Adil Abdul Rahman and Sanya Santosh.
Now, may I request our respected principal, Mr. Shihabuddin Pulak, to give away the badges to our junior head boys and head girls of each section. I request them to come forward.
Let's start with Mohammed Risal M. as the head boy of primary section. Accompanying him is Nawal Tabassum, the head girl of primary section. Moving on, we have the head boy of Ansar School of Quran, Azgan Azad. Along with him is Jannah Fatima, the head girl of Ansar School of Quran. Next, we have the upper primary section. Head boy is Muhammad Shahin. With him is Ganga Sudhir, the head girl of UP section. Finally, we have the head boy of secondary section, Ayan Amid, followed by the head girl, Khadija Saukat. Khadija Shaukat.
For the oath. We, the Student Council of Ansar English School, do solemnly swear to discharge to the best of our abilities and in all sincerity the duties with which we have been entrusted and promised to abide by the Student Council Charter. I shall be obedient and respectful to my superiors, just and tolerant to my colleagues and juniors, and loyal to them all. I further pledge that in all matters affecting work, sports, and general demeanor, I shall work for the honor of the school, and that I shall place the interests of others before my own. This is my pledge today and for tomorrow. Thank you.
Power others. With that quote, agreed the Honorable Principal, Mr. Shihabuddin Pulak, onto the stage to provide us with his wisdom. Over to you, sir.
Good morning, my dear leaders. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Respected Vice Principal, Academic Consultant, Junior Principals, Head Teachers, teachers and guest leaders and my dear parents. First of all, I congratulate all student leaders of Ansar English School. Okay. Your major responsibility is to focus on your academic, non-academic, and moreover, to upgrade your skills. Don't misunderstand that, oh, I am a leader of Ansar English School today. I can control my classmates. I can do something at school because I am a leader of school. That is not the expected comment from you. I repeat once again, your major responsibility is to improve your academic, active involvement in non-academic activities, and to prove yourself a person who can lead tomorrow's world. Through a process of value-driven activities of our school, you will be able to propagate values in our society. My dear leaders of today's, why did we organize this program? To make you understand the value of leadership. We do respect you. And we do hope you will be a role model from today onwards. There should not be any indiscipline record against you. There should not be any negative comment from my teachers. Sir, this child is not qualified to hold this badge because he did something which is not acceptable. That comment I will never accept. So you are models. Others how to look at you. The way you talk, the way you walk, the way you communicate, the way you behave, everything depends. So today your position is something different. People who succeed at the highest level, not because of their academics, what I do believe. Even if you score A1 in all subjects, but you may not have a good character, you may fail in your life. Your responsibility is to maximize your potential, your skills, and try to better your score. Learn how to behave. Demonstrate your leadership, not at school, even at home. I do request my parents, please trust our children. They are leaders today. Let our students, our children, decide the menu of your residence. When you organize any program out of your residence, let your child take a decision. The venue, how can we organize the program? Let them take a decision, not parents. When we organize any event at home, let our child, let our student take a decision. What is his role? What parents are supposed to do? Let them take a decision. Decision makers, not only at school, even at home. So I would request once again my parents, please trust our children. They are unique. And tomorrow they will lead our India through a value-driven activities. They are so creative. Ansar English School has stated a vision that as creative and value-driven citizens. And these are the citizens of tomorrow's world. And even if they have any challenge in the future life, and they will be able to face it without any inhibition, without any problems. My dear leaders, my humble request to you, respect your badge. Today, whatever leaders have hand over to you, don't respect your badge. I already promised you that when I had a discussion with the 16 members of the major leading group, I told them you will have a training program organized by the school. And we will ensure that you are in the right path in all the aspects. That is what I do expect from you. Respect your teachers, respect your parents, and respect yourself. My today's message is very simple. You have to follow in your life 3 G's. The first G stands for be genuine in your life. Be truthful. Don't tell lies in your life, please. Be genuine. Understand what is your strength and what's your weakness. Who are you? Please understand that. And be truthful. Whatever the reason, whatever the obstacles in your life, be truthful. Please keep in your mind. Be genuine. First G stands for genuine, self-awareness. The second G stands for generous. Be generous in your life. Generous for hard work. Third G stands for generative. You have to be highly innovative. I will repeat once again. You have to follow 3 G's in your life. The first G stands for be genuine, self-awareness. Second one, be generous, hard work. Third one, be generative, innovative. Can you repeat? First G stands for be genuine. Second G stands for generous. Third G stands for generative. Okay, this is my humble message of today's function. I once again congratulate my all leaders. I congratulate vice principal. I congratulate academic consultant. I congratulate all my junior principals, head teachers, and my dedicated teachers, those who worked behind this program. IT department and anchoring team, SPC team, physical education department, parents and MC of today's event, and those who train our MCs, the teachers, all the community of Ansar English School once again, and photographer for his patience. I once again congratulate and express my gratitude for your support and cooperation. Thank you so much.
Leadership is the capacity to translate vision into reality. Good morning, all. It's my privilege to propose vote of thanks and acknowledge the contribution of those who worked hard to make this day happen. I am Malavika Srinivasan on behalf of Ansar English School. Firstly, giving glory to Almighty for making today's event a resounding success. I extend a hearty vote of thanks to our chief guest, Salman Ali, Assistant Professor of IIM Calicut, who spared time from his busy schedule to grace this occasion. I am very grateful to KV Mohammed Sir, Vice Chairman of Ansari Charitable Trust, E.A. Kunyahamad Sir, Secretary, Sharif Sir, Management Representative, and Dr. Najib Mohammed Sir, CEO, for their valuable presence. My heartfelt thanks to Sahira Ma'am for her support. A special mention to our Principal Shihabuddin Sir and Vice Principal Shaini Ma'am for their unlimited support. An event like this cannot happen overnight. The wheels start rolling weeks ago. My sincere thanks to people who worked behind the curtain to make this event happen. Heads of various sections, teachers, IT crew, everyone. I thank all the parents present here for accepting our invitation. Finally, I thank you, the team of leaders, for your collaboration in making this function a marvelous one. And also, I would like to wish you all the best in all your future endeavors as the promising leaders of Ansar. Once again, thank you all.
Thank you, Malavika. This This proud moment reminds us of the trust and confidence that we repose in our newly elected cabinet. Donning the mantle of responsibility, you are all pledged to dispense your duties to the best of your abilities and abide by the rules and regulations of this institution.
To add color, the students of class 11 have dedicated a few programs to this event. Let's sit back and enjoy.
Let's start the cultural programs with a dance performance. Srishma and her team has prepared for something for all of us.
वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा. गणनायकाय गणदैवताय गणाध्यक्षाय धीमहि गुणशरीराय गुणमण्डिताय गुणेशानाय धीमहि गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि गानचतुराय गानप्राणाय गानान्तरात्मने गानोत्सुकाय गानमत्ताय गानोत्सुकमनसे गुरुपूजिताय गुरुदैवताय गुरुकुलस्थायिने गुरुविक्रमाय गुह्यप्रवराय गुरवे गुणगुरवे गुरुदैत्यकलक्षेत्रे गुरुधर्मसदाराध्याय गुरुपुत्रपरित्रात्रे खण्डकाय गीतसाराय गीततत्त्वाय गीतगोत्राय धीमहि गूढगुल्फाय गन्धमत्ताय गोजयप्रदाय धीमहि गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि सर्वराजाय गन्धाय सर्वगानश्रवणप्रणयिने गुणवते गणपतये एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि
ശിശിരം നീ ധരണി തന്നെരിവയിൽ തണൽ നീ ആ ആ ആ ഉദയം നീ ഉൽക്ക നീ സർവം നീ ചരിതമായി മാറണം ചരിതമായി മാറണം നീ യുഗയുഗാന്തരങ്ങളാകനീ ഉലകിതിൻ്റെ നാഥനാണ് നീ തടയുമലകളായിരം മുന്നിൽ ഭയമിഴാത്ത നാവികനെതിരെ ചരിതമായി മാറണം നീ ചരിതമായി മാറണം നീ പടകളോരായിരം പോരിനായി വരികിലോ ഈ ക്ഷണം ഏകനായി എതിരിടൂ ഇവിടെ നീ തന്നെ നിൻ ആയുധം തന്നനെ നാനേ താനും തന്നാനോ താനേ നാനേനോ തന്നനെ നാനേ താനും തന്നാനോ താനേ നാനേനോ തന്നനെ നാനേ താനും തന്നാനോ താനേ നാനേനോ തന്നനെ നാനേ താനും തന്നാനോ താനേ നാനേനോ